This is a story about a defining point in life that after which nothing remains the same. And it's kind of a lighthearted story, though, so let's get to it. When I was 14 or 15, I'd only played guitar for a couple of months at this time, and I was just switching over from a like nylon approach, for like 3 months to an electric approach, like on the fourth month. And I got a book of a compilation of like Randy Rhoads licks and solos and some rhythms and stuff like that from Cherry Lane Music. And I think Wolf Marshall wrote it, and I think that he also wrote like the description of the different symbols and what they mean. So I kept running across these things I'd never seen before. I was still just learning how to read tablature at the time, which I should never have done, but they had these swoopy markings. I didn't know what that meant. So I go into the glossary of terms and I see that's a bend. Okay, well, what's a bend? And it goes on and explains. It's where you grab the string or grab the note and you pull it up or you pull it sharp, something like that. And what I remember from this, and I think this is the most poignant part of the story, is what comes to your mind when you hear that? Well, as a guitar player of some tenure, we know exactly what it means, and it makes sense. But as a kid who's never seen anything like that before, doesn't know any guitar players, has lessons once a week with this guy over in Aberdeen, Warren Mason, he has no idea what that means. So he interprets it the best he can, plays a note, and then grabs the string with his right hand and pulls up. Pull up. And, as a technique goes, it doesn't quite sound right, does it? So I still had no idea what they were referencing. And I just kept trying to make a note out of that for like hours at a time. I'm sure I drove my folks nuts. But come to the next guitar lesson, and I go up to Warren. I'm like, hey, do you know what a bend is? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, could you help me out with this? I demonstrate what I'm doing. He's like, uh-huh. This is a bend. Yeah. Are you sure? The book says grab the note. And oh. So I knew how to bend after that. And suddenly I knew that all the stuff I was watching on television of people doing that was also called a bend. And I just found that really funny. But yeah, that was life-changing. And one of the dumbest things I think of. This is one of the reasons why I say, reading a book doesn't teach a person how to swim. You can read a book about the mechanics of swimming, but as soon as you get in the water, it's a different story. It's the same way with tablature and not using your ears in that tab in itself doesn't teach you anything about music or the conversational language of music. All it does is it presents you with a bunch of words, but you have no idea about inflection. It doesn't really teach you anything about it. So certainly didn't teach me. Night.